Okay, so Jacob, obviously we're pretty pumped up for you. So here's how this is going to work, guys. I've got a few questions, and then I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to open it up to your questions. So if you're in the Zoom room and you want to ask a question, we'll do that. If you're watching on the Facebook Live, I've got my iPad over here and I'm monitoring the questions there. So ask a question there if you have one. So Jake,
yes,
let's start off kind of and give everybody some perspective of where you were at. Was it 7 months ago when we initially had our first conversation, and the exponential growth that you have seen in your business? Give us just in a nutshell what you've seen over the last 7 months.
Okay, so when I joined the course, I was looking for some way that I could transform my business. Like, I knew I needed to not step away, but I needed to transition from just doing real estate, video, and photography, and the virtual tour thing, which can be lucrative. I mean, depending on how busy you want to be, but the margin was so small. Like, at the end of the day, profitability versus how much work that goes into each tour for the area that I'm in. I wasn't. And when I joined Parker's course initially, it was to join the real estate video the videography, and then I started doing it on my own, and it was good. It was lucrative, but I was like, this isn't sustainable for me. Like, I can't charge as much as Parker's charging for his homes. I'm not even doing homes that are that big, So for me, it was, I needed a way. I have a marketing background. I need a way to monetize marketing and video together. And then it's funny, I was thinking that, and then I saw an ad for or maybe it was a post. I can't exactly remember. 7 months ago, it was a post for the course for the Real Deal Video Strategy Club. And I was like, this is the missing piece. And I was still on the edge. It was holidays, money was tight. I was like, I got to get in there, but there was a sale going on. So I jumped in after talking to David, and he, like, having that interaction with David really was the piece de la resistance for me to join. Like, it was the thing that set me over the edge, because we all know in the business that we work in, like, people enjoy personal interaction more than anything. That's why when we shoot video for a customer, they want, for a client, their customers want to see them on video. And they always, oftentimes I hear, look, do my clients even want to hear me or see me on video? I'm like, yes, they want to see you on video. They need that personal touch. So that was really what set me over. And then I joined, and then I watched all the videos, and everything clicked. Everything just fell into place. I was like, this makes sense. So I went to a restaurant locally, and mind you, before this, I had never done anything outside of real estate. Never shot anyone, never shot any audio, nothing, just real estate. We did some real estate tours where the agent does some presentations. So just a lavalier mic, that was it. And I went to a local restaurant that I used to work at when I was like 19, and the owner's still there. And I asked him, hey, can I shoot a video for you? I'll do it for free. I just need some, and the idea was in my back of my mind, it's like, I'm going to go to different restaurants locally and see if I can, get their story out, shoot some promos for them. So I shot a promo and I shot a brand message video. And I used that as an example when I went and talked to this roofing company, who is a connection that I've had from a long time ago. I actually used to work for the contractor. It's a, husband and wife kind of deal. And I showed him the video. I was like, this is kind of, the essence of what we could do for you. But the whole goal is that we're going to make these videos. We're going to run some ads. We're going to get you more leads. We're going to make you the biggest in town, because nobody else is doing video around here. You're going to kill it. And so, by the way, they're booked out until, like, I think October, November now, because of us. They had the busiest year they've ever had because of the work that we do. And so we're not doing just video. We're running ads for them. We set up pipelines for them. We've done the marketing for them. And I have two sides of my business, the video production and the marketing side. And I pay people appropriately for the work that they do based off that. It's not just me. I can't do it all alone. But I was only able to scale to that point because of these first projects. And the roofing company, they're paying me $4,000 a month, and they paid $9,500 the first time they signed on. So that's another client that's paying me, and they're paying me basically half what the city's paying, right? So there's chances to have multiple of these clients, but the city is a culmination of networking with that roofing company, all the work that I've done so far for all the clients we have worked for up until now. And then I used all that as an example. The roofing company is actually, the wife is on the downtown association. So they all had a meeting and they were like, hey, we want to do marketing. And the city's like, yeah, we want to do marketing. And she said, I know someone, he does video. He's doing a
Okay.
great job for my company. Like,
Bef-
boom.
Before you get too far into that, because I'm sure
Okay.
people are going to ask questions
I know,
about
I know, I
this,
know.
but I just want to give some perspective. I'm going to shorten this down. So when Jake and I first talked, I think Jake had told me that he was, closing deals at like $1,000, $1,500 one-off projects. He was looking for a way to kind of expand that into bigger deals. Money was tight. He joined our program. I think he got 50% off. And since that date, which was like I think it was like the day before Black Friday in November is when you joined. Up until this date, you now have, is it close to $200,000 in closed deals?
Yes. Yeah. Closed deals. I mean, have I received all 200 of that? No, but there are contracts that have been closed that are signed that are, yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, the first really, really big deal that you signed was with the roofing company, right? So that was a
Correct.
retainer deal where they're paying you $4,000 a month. We did a whole nother live stream about this one as well, because this was a huge deal at the time.
Yeah.
But he utilized the connections that he had through that roofing deal. He utilized his network and he got introduced into this project. Now, Jake reached out to me and he was like, dude, I have a meeting tomorrow or the next day. And
Yeah.
I got to figure this out. Can we do like a strategy session? And what we did was we ended up doing a clubhouse together. We threw a bunch of ideas together and Jake turned around and went to this city and he closed the deal, right? So Jake, tell me a little bit about after we had that clubhouse meeting and you went to the city, like what was the project? What were they looking to do? Give me a little bit of background on that. How did you kind of work your way into the door and get to the point where you were actually pitching a deal? Tell us what the deliverables are, and then I'm going to open the floor to questions.
Okay. So this project it's interesting because the reason they wanted to, so the city manager is kind of like a progressive thinker. And in my town, it's a little bit, it can be somewhat of an older community. So what the city manager wants to do is he wants to turn our downtown into like really like an entertainment center that you would see in like maybe a bigger city. Like the main street's going to turn into a pedestrian boulevard where there's no cars that are going to be allowed. It's already closed off because of COVID. That's what they did. And so now they're trying to kind of push that and really turn Grass Valley into a city that has this main hub where everyone wants to go, and they need to market it. And so that was my in, and my in was through the roofing company. And there's part of the networking group is there's another photographer I've done work with. She is also kind of pushed for me to be in that meeting. And so when we had that strategy meeting, I was like, guys, I got this tomorrow. Like this just threw on my lap, and like I'm gonna do it, but I'm like, how do I even go into this? I don't even know what to charge. Like I'm not sure. No, actually, I think I'd already had one meeting, and then they said, yeah, the initial like, hey, this is kind of what we want to do, and so I knew what they wanted to do. But the next meeting was really to finalize. They wanted my proposal, and I'm like, I'm not ready to give a proposal. I don't even know what the scope of work is. Like they're looking to me to come up with a scope of work for them. And it's funny because me being me, like I'm over promising, and they're like, well, when I think of a long video, I'm thinking like 2 minutes, and when I think of a long video, I'm thinking like 5 to 10 minutes long, right? So they're making the work easier on me already before I've even started the project. When we're talking about what deliverables there are going to be, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 months to ramp up this marketing. We're going to make a new Facebook page. We're going to build a new small subdomain website that's going to be a location for, or a center for all of these what's it called? Center for all of these associations to put all their information in. So there's one hub that people can go to for events, for activities, for things that are happening downtown. And that whole push is going to help downtown Grass Valley become bigger than it was before. And because it's not really known for like a place where people come and hang out, but you're gonna be able to drink on the street. You're gonna be able to like do all these things that you can't really do in a normal city setting. So the city wants to market that, and they want to do video. And so I'm pretty much the only person in the area that's young and hungry and like putting that kind of level of quality out. Like everyone else here is like dinosaurs. Like they are using old stuff from 10 years ago and like still filming on tape and stuff. It just doesn't cut it, right? So the city actually technically came to me. Like they wanted to talk with me, and then they put out an RFP, which is a request for proposals, because you have to do that when you're doing anything government wise. And so they have to give, other marketing companies in the area the opportunity to bid on the project. And they're saying, this project is going to be about $80,000. This is what we're looking for. And apparently 5 people, no, yeah, I think 5 other companies bid on it, and they still went with me. But they put the RFP out because of the meeting they had with me. And I went in there and I sold it, man. I sold that to them. I am a good salesman. I'm a smooth talker when it comes to like this kind of stuff. Like I really just went in and I explained everything. I made them feel like emotion about what we do. And that's the biggest thing, is like they knew what they wanted, but I put more on the table for them to contemplate and be like, okay, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And I got a bunch of, high fives at the end. Everyone's like, oh, you killed that. Like you were, and I was like, I was nervous before I went into that. I had no idea what to expect. I'm sitting in front of the vice mayor. The mayor walked in the room, city council's there, the city manager, the downtown association. All these people are listening to just me talk. I've never been in this kind of setting before. But when you're talking about this, it's like, if you believe in what you do, it's easy. It just comes out, like I'm not selling them something that I don't believe in, right? That's where I was coming from.
That's crazy, man.
As far as breaking down the contract, I mean, it's $109,000. It's basically $8,000 a month. And then on top of that, there's 10 grand for basically a one-off photography, right? So I guess you could say that's about $1,000 a month for that. Then there's $3,000 for a what is it? For the website, for that little website that we're going to do. And so what we're doing is we're managing social media for this specific project. We're managing, we're collaborating between the different associations. We're shooting video, taking photos, and giving people a central hub to come and get their information. And we are quarterbacking that entire process, right? So a portion of that, a good portion of that is the video production. And I'd say about 35 to 40% of that is marketing.
Dude, that is awesome. And I think you actually answered Jay's question. So Jay put in here, break down the deliverables, break down the payment schedule, contract information. So that's pretty much what you just broke down. But guys, what I picked up from what Jake said right there is that when he went into that meeting, he had more than just, I can make a video, right? Like everybody knows that he can make a video. We all know that. The reason that they picked Jake above all the other people is because he had vision. He had ideas. He had imagination. He had a freaking plan that was going to help them achieve their objective. And when you're able to put those two things together, your creative and your ability to come up with that strategy, you put them together, this is exactly what happens. So for all of you guys who are watching that are not part of our program, this is the stuff that Jake learned. He took pieces from what we teach. He took pieces from what he already knew, and he built a master skill set that has allowed him to close almost pretty close to $200,000 in video contracts and deals in the last 7 months, which was absolutely crazy. So with that said, I am going to open this up for questions. So if you have a question on the Facebook Live, I do have it open here. I'm checking it out. Ask. Let's see here. I'm going to bring in Caitlin Lewis. Caitlin Lewis has got a question. So Caitlin, you can unmute your microphone and ask away.
So Jake, I was just wondering, I put it in the chat, but do you, in that social media aspect of your contract, does it include managing ads, or is it mostly just the content planning throughout the month for the city?
Yeah, so it does include both. We're media buying, but the ads are going to be based off of traffic. So we're not, buying for conversions or anything like that. We're going to be running ads on Facebook and Google and YouTube, mostly Facebook and YouTube, because we're going to use the video that we create to support the entire push. But the idea here being that we are going to be bringing in traffic to the central hub that we've created. And, social media is a huge part of that. Absolutely. Facebook ads are going to help us do that. And there is a separate budget that they have. I think it's $1,000 per month right now that the city manager set aside for advertisements, but we're not starting that until we have all the pieces in place. So yeah, it's definitely an important part of this. I mean, ads aren't everything, but they're a solid way to get traffic where you don't have it, or to get in front of people. So mainly it's not even as much about people locally. Like the amount of network that the city's going to be able to tap into when we share this social media that we're creating is vast. I mean, you've got the downtown association, you got the Chamber of Commerce, you've got even there's an art center. All these places downtown have their own followings and will be sharing this because they're also putting in information into the pot that we're going to be pushing out. That being said, there's going to be people outside of Grass Valley and the local area that come and visit here, that we want to come visit and have them spend their money. The city needs that income, just like any city needs tourism, right? Grass Valley is no different. Grass Valley, in fact, has a lot to offer. The local area, it's a great area to be in. We're centrally located between Tahoe, Sacramento. We're up in the foothills. There's tons of history here, great hiking trails, lakes, river. There's everything here that you could possibly imagine. And downtown Grass Valley wants to capture a lot of that so that people come and stay here and spend their money downtown. So we want to run ads to people in the Bay Area. We want to run ads to people that are visiting, to get them to come visit, to entice them. And video is the best way to do that. High quality video that tells a story of downtown Grass Valley. That's what's really going to be the selling point.
Dude, I love that strategy piece. I love understanding the audience, where the audience is at, what the needs of the client are, where we're going to run these ads in order to get their objectives achieved. Good stuff, man. Caitlin, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Next question. So Josh Thomas says, I came in a few minutes late. Sorry. And maybe this has been answered, but how many people are on your team, people that you pay directly?
All right. So I have basically, even though I'm the marketing director, I have a marketing director that I have working side by side with me. She's one. I've got another crew member that helps me film. That's two. I've got a trainee that, paying for the time that he's training, more of as an assistant, but he's learning a lot. So I guess that's four, including me. And then there's another VA that I pay for just some busy work online, managing our other clients that aren't the city. So, this could be anything from helping them out with the CRM that we use all the time for our clients, etc. So there's about 5 people. And I'm, honestly, if I could add an editor, I would do that in an instant because I need that. Oh, it's so bad. But anyways, yeah. So about 5 people, hopefully 6.
That's awesome. Josh, hopefully that answered your question. But I want to ask a question to follow up on that. Jake, are all those people that you hired in the last 7 months? Is that how much your business has grown?
One was helping me already. He's my best friend. He's kind of my business partner. It is my business, but we kind of went into this together, and I taught him everything that I knew at the time and about making videos, and now we've kind of grown together. So he's like the main person. But yeah, within the last 7 months, those other people have come on during that time frame because I needed it. I couldn't expand and grow to where I'm at now and to be able to provide the quality that I want to, doing it all myself. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
So I asked this question of Jonathan yesterday. I want to ask it of you as well. How does it feel, dude, to know that you're providing employment? Like you were paying people, and 7 months ago, you were just trying to get jobs to pay the mortgage and the car note. And like you were in that, I'm a creative and I'm trying to make a living. And now you're an employer, dude. You are a business that's paying people. How does that feel, man?
It feels amazing. And it's not just paying. I'm paying people a substantial amount of money that 6 months ago, I would have been happy. I would have been stoked to be making that myself 6 months ago. And not only am I making that myself, well, I'm not going to give tax advice here, but I'm making enough money to pay my bills and put money back into the business and pay all these people for their time, right? Probably, honestly, more than I should be. But the reality is these people are happy working for me. And they know that this is growing, and they can see that I'm putting in the work on my end to get us more jobs, to grow, to purchase courses, to do things that help them grow. That to me is everything. If I had a boss that did that for me ever once, I probably wouldn't have left that job. But the difference is like, you gotta spend money to make money, right? So if I want to make $300,000 in 2022, which I do, I want to make that much money in 2022. It's possible. I'll probably have to hire more people. Is that something? Yes, it's an expense, but it's necessary. And you can't do everything yourself. And other people have better ideas than you, and other people can do things better than you can. And so what you would do in my position, like I want to be focused on the filmmaking, and I want to be focused on the pieces that I love about the job that I have, the business that I've created, and not focus on all the things that I'm not necessarily good at. Like marketing, I'm good at it, but that's busy work to me. I hate it. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. You know, I have to provide that value to my clients to make me stand out from some other crack, you know, some other hack that's going to be film and video. You got to find ways to differentiate yourself. And so I need these people. They need me. And it's like, it's a copacetic, you know.
Good stuff. So for all of you guys that are watching, they're like, okay, I'm at a $1,500 price point, or maybe I'm getting $2,500 deals. Just know that it is possible. Jake has proven that it is possible. It is absolutely possible when you invest in yourself and you make the right moves and you continuously develop yourself. So I want to go to the next question here, Jake. And this is from Sergi. Sergi, if you want to unmute yourself and ask Jake your question about social media posting, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Hi, Jake.
Hey.
Basically, if you do the social media management, that's a lot of communication between you and client, because yes, most of the posts, especially for the city, has to be like a pre-approved or whatever the calendar of the post. Tell me more about it. Like, who does this part for you?
So that's going to be basically my marketing manager. She's going to handle that. And under normal circumstances, I would probably outsource a social media manager position for a smaller client, but for the city, there's no way I'm going to do that. So what she's going to do is we're going to plan this out. I already talked to the city, you know, we're going to plan this out quarterly and have all these posts done well in advance before the month even starts. You know, and a lot of times these things get planned out, like all the events and everything that happens get planned out well in advance anyway. So there's no worry about like last minute stuff coming up. They're going to approve each post. They're going to look at it long beforehand. The contact or the administrator for the project is going to do that. And we're going to handle all that way ahead of time. So when we add stuff in, it'll be like, hey, off the cuff, like, oh, it's snowing. We're going to get some footage of it snowing, because the city doesn't apparently have any footage of when it snows in town. And, you know, we might throw a little a little shot of that up, but that's it. Right. So everything's going to be planned out. I do have a social media manager. That's kind of one of her strengths, is why I brought her on, is to do the social media aspect of it, because it's important. I mean, social media is organic traffic. You know, every business needs that. Every city needs that.
Do you have any pre-planned, let's say, frequency? How often and for how many platforms?
So it's going to be one platform, most likely Facebook, maybe Instagram. There might be a Twitter. That's it. All the other videos that we're going to post, they'll go on a YouTube channel, sure. But it's going to be those three, because that's going to, you know, Instagram's going to be purely visual, if at all. We might just end up using the city's Instagram account for that. And then the Facebook really is serving one purpose, and it is to take the Grass Valley Downtown Association, the Chamber of Commerce, the Center of the Arts, and the city, and have a hub for all of them. Because right now they're all different pieces of the same puzzle. They've never really come together. I mean, they do work together, but they never really come together to like push out information. And so the idea being that we're going to have a central hub that everything gets shared out from. And this is where all the videos go, and they all benefit off of it. And eventually, I think the city's fronting the money right now, but their idea is to have this ongoing for a long time, and that everyone is putting some money in the pot.
Good stuff. Real good question,
Can
Sergi.
I ask a question about
Sure.
the social media manager?
Yeah.
What does her rate look like? And then for the content, is she running the ads, or she's just managing all the posts, or she's doing everything?
So as far as what I pay her, her rate,
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting a salary at this point. It's about I think $4,500 a month is what I pay her.
Okay.
And she's going to be handling the ads with me, obviously. She's going to be managing the social media, and together we are also going to be building out the other pieces that we need, like email campaigns and text message, campaigns and things like that we would be sending out, setting up, ManyChat, which is basically a chat bot that lives on the Facebook page. So, nobody has to sit there and respond to people as they ask questions, stuff like that. She manages all that. Yeah.
So she's an employee, not a contractor.
Oh, she is a contractor, 100%.
Oh, so you subbed her out. So her business name doesn't come on there, though. She's sort of whitelisted, I guess is what they call it.
Yeah, everything happens under Banner Mountain Media. However, she will have to have, for the contract, these are semantics, but for the contract, she has to have her own insurance. I have to present all those insurance policies to the city, anyone that I use as a subcontractor for my work, but all the work's going through me. So,
Okay.
really all that's doing is the city saying, we don't care how the work gets done. We just need to know that they're insured and that it's happening, and you can make that happen. You're facilitating it.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Good stuff. Okay, guys, let's keep this in order. So I've got questions in the queue here. So if you have a question, put it in the chat and I'll bring you on and unmute you and you can ask the question. Michael's question is, how did you make $200,000 in 7 months? Michael, that's a pretty long question. Jake, if you want to
I'll
give
do a
him
quick
just
answer.
real quick answer. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Hard work and networking, man. If you have good quality stuff and you can network with the right people, you can make that money easy. You got to find the right business owners. You got to find the right people that have the money to spend, focus on industries that actually have money. And that might not be your ideal client. Is a roofing company my ideal client? No, not a chance. But that roofing company signed on for $59,000 for a whole year. Like, is the city my ideal client? Yeah, absolutely. You want to know why they're my ideal client? Because they're paying me $109,000 for a contract. So I focus on home services like solar. We have got another solar company. They're paying $3,500 a month. I've got, the roofing company. I've actually done video for every single solar company in my town at this point. We just finished doing another project. So focus on the people that have money and the people that need a better marketing push. And that's going to be every home service you could possibly imagine. HVAC companies, roofing companies, general contractors, anything like that. Solar companies, they all need better marketing, and video's going to be the way to do that.
Michael, if you're not already in our paid program, Michael, and you truly want to know how to be able to go after these type of companies, give me a shout and I can get you some information on that. And actually this conversation was something that Rodney and I were having the other day, talking about, like, is it your ideal client? Is this who you really want to do work with? Maybe not, but listen, once you land that contract, it's going to free you up to go for your ideal contracts. And Rodney, this is exactly why I was telling you that the other day. I see you shaking your head. So that's a really good question, Michael. There's a lot that goes into it, but in all honesty, Michael, you just have to invest in yourself. You got to bet in yourself. You got to invest in your skill sets, your knowledge, and you got to put the business and the creative side together and not leave one hanging without the other. Because if you have one without the other, you're not going to have anything at all. So, Michael, if you have any other questions about that, let me know. Let's go over to David Tuttle. David, why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question? Then I'm going to go to Joe, who asked a question on Facebook next. So, David, go ahead.
Well, what's up? Grats, Jake, again.
Thank you.
Question in regards to the job itself, as you're talking about bringing the parts of the city and businesses together into a central hub website to promote this downtown area. What are the actual number of deliverables for? Are you doing them for each individual business or each individual place? And is it like one giant BMV for the downtown area combined with a whole bunch of testimonials from each individual business or city? How was that broken down into number of deliverables that's going on to the hub website that you're launching for that? What did that look like?
So what it breaks down to is we're going to do a certain amount of video per month, but that changes depending on seasonally. Like, so for summer and for the start of the project, we're doing a larger video, and that, larger being like 5 minutes long or something like that. During a monthly, an off month that is not that, we're going to be doing two smaller, 1 to 2 minute videos. And these are going to be informational pieces. These can be anything though. These can be about specific businesses highlighting or spotlighting that. These can be about the construction going downtown. This really is about pushing information out that people want to know, that the city's trying to get ahead of bad press or negative comments or things like that happen on stuff like Facebook. Every town's probably got some local Facebook group page that everyone, signs up for, and everyone talks shit on the things that are happening around the area. Well, the city's trying to get ahead of that, right? And so this whole shutting down town is a big thing for our city. And so what they want to do, they want to make sure that their story, their narrative is the predominant one that's going out. And so that's where we come in. I mean, that's where we are spending that time to make sure that their stories getting told, their narratives getting out there, and that people get that information. And so Facebook and the website that we're building, all of it's going to be linked but it's also going to be connected to the associations, right? To the Center for the Arts, to all these pieces that are downtown. And so they're also putting their information in. They will be a part of that entire process. It's a collaborative, project, right? And so, yeah, that does mean there's a lot of moving parts, and that's, the one big downside is that I've got to deal with all these different people that all have a different opinion. But really, again, it comes back on us. Like, we're the quarterback. We're quarterbacking this whole process for them. We're their marketing strategist. That's actually what I got them to call it on the contract, funny enough. Which is that's what I call it. That's the perfect way to announce yourself, is like, I'm a video marketing strategist, And so I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, so seasonally we're going to do like a larger brand message kind of thing. And then when it's not that, it'll be informational or spotlights or anything about the city. I mean, there's historic stuff. There's sky's the limit.
And the common denominator is that it's the city is the narrator for it, but you're gathering the specifics, scriptings, screenplay, all that stuff from the individual center of the arts or center of this or that have the say in the final deliverable that's coming out via the city. But the city is the one.
Correct.
Is
the city is the one that's paying for it, at least for right now.
Right.
So they're going to be the ones that are gaining the most. Yeah, they're going to be the central hub for all of it. And it makes sense too. The downtown association wouldn't be anything without the city. There wouldn't be a downtown association. So
right.
Awesome. Cool. Really good question, David. Hope that was the answer. And something that I picked up from every time Jake is saying this is why we're doing this stuff, it's always coming back to the problem that the city has, and he always has something to address that problem. And I say it all the time, I'll continue to say it, the amount of money that you get paid is in direct proportion to the size of the problem that you solve. The size of the problem that Jake is solving is worth this to the city $109,000. I just like saying that number. It's a big problem. They're willing to pay to get ahead of that narrative and to do all these other things to make sure that their project goes well and that the community stays happy. That is just freaking awesome. Marquise says in the Facebook group, controlling the narrative, I like it. Most businesses completely ignore the narrative until it is a blazing fire that they need to rush to put out. So that's absolutely huge. Let's go over to Joe on Facebook. Joe asked, what tips do you have in sourcing these leads? What type of staff members are you reaching out to initially in your process?
Okay, so what kind of, can you say that again? What kind of tips do I have?
My dogs are going nuts.
Yeah, it's distracting.
My bad. So he says, what tips do you have in sourcing these leads? What type of staff members are you reaching out to initially in your process?
Okay, so leads. I was making connections based off of who I knew first. That's how that started. So leads, and I haven't really marketed myself outside of just networking yet. But it all started with making connections with people that I knew, like the roofing company that I knew owned the business. I knew they had money to spend because they're a roofing company and their margins are fat. And I also knew that people locally aren't doing their job, because I go to their website and I look at it and say, well, this is basic. They have no video. They've got nothing here. In fact, they have one drone video, and it clearly was the owner that put that drone video up there. So I reached out to people that I knew within my immediate circle, not immediate circle, these are extended acquaintances. And, you make that personal connection first. And then through that, I asked them, like, what are ways, because they ended up being extremely happy with the work that I did. I asked them directly, I said, how can I get in front of more people? Do you have any business owners that you know? And so they introduced me to a solar company, and that solar company fell through, but ended up coming back, and I just shot a video for them, and then I joined the same networking group as this roofing company. So I guess I got lucky in a sense that they were in that networking group as well. And through that is really where it all started. So my advice to you is to look for opportunities for you to network with people that you are closer with, than instead of cold calling, because I guarantee you within your circle somewhere, someone knows someone that needs this, because everyone needs it. I mean, there's no question in anyone's mind, like everyone can benefit from a marketing and a video marketing strategy. Every single business on the planet could. Some are going to have higher profit margins than others, but I guarantee you or someone you know knows someone that is a contractor that has money to spend. Maybe they're busy right now, but they want to set themselves up for when things slow down, because the market always changes. Things always go the other way, you know?
Good stuff.
It was a mixture. I feel like it was a mixture of putting myself in the right place at the right time, which feels a little bit like luck, but also it was the fulfillment of it. Like I followed through, you know, I came through and I did quality work for this company, and that set me up for everything else from there on out. And now I'm getting requested to do work based off of that quality, right? So if you have confidence in yourself, that's really all that matters, is have the confidence that you can deliver. Go out and offer some of it for free to someone you know, just to get your feet wet, know that you can do it, and be like, I can sell the shit out of this. I'm going to go talk to companies about it, you know?
Love it. Love it.
And then
Love it, love it.
staffing, these are people I know. Like I worked with the marketing director at my marketing director or coordinator job, like a year before that. You know, my best friend is someone that I trained on how to shoot video. And
I think he was asking like who at the company are you reaching out to? Like, are you reaching out to the director of
whoever makes the
marketing?
money decisions, dude? That's it. That's it. Don't talk. I mean, or marketing director, but go to the person who makes the money decisions. Go to the owner. Go to these. Don't waste time talking to the front desk or someone who can't actually answer a yes or no question on the spot of whether they have money to spend on marketing. That's my advice.
Awesome. Okay, next question, and I'm gonna start going through these quick because obviously Jake is a busy man, so I don't want to keep him longer than necessary. I see your question here, Josh, but we already answered one of your questions, so I'm going to put your second question to the back of the line here. I do want to go over to Emmanuel Lugo though, because Emmanuel had a couple really good questions. So Emmanuel, if you want to unmute yourself and you can ask that question.
Jake, congrats, man. You're gonna hang up the agreement letter on the wall.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get a copy of the check too. It's gonna go right on.
You just paint a whole mural in your room.
Yeah, exactly.
So my two, these should be relatively quick questions. Was there anything that you had pushback on in the meeting that they were like, you know, we're not okay with that, or we're okay with this, or are you such a good salesman that they were just saying yes the whole time? That's question number one. And also adding to that, was there anything that you weren't sure on how to answer that they had brought up to you? Clearly, it's like the whole governmental thing. So that's my first question. I've got another one after that.
So actually, no, they didn't push back at all. I hit all the right points during this meeting. And so that was kind of a blessing in my aspect, because I came in and I positioned myself as an expert, right? And none of these people have any idea what it's like to film or market or anything. And that's to my benefit, right? If it's a business owner, that might be a little bit different, where they have an idea, and usually it's misguided on how to market their business better than you do. But more often than not, if you position yourself as the expert, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am really good at selling things on an emotional level, you know, like saying the right words, hitting the right pain points. But the one tactic that you need to bring into these meetings is sell the outcome, sell the problems that you're solving. Don't sell the tool, or don't get caught up in the details, because when you talk about details, people start to let go of that bigger picture. But for the city, for these, you know, I had all these associations, the vice mayor, you know, city council sitting there, I'm saying to them, and I listened to what they had to say. A lot of the times they brought up like, we're just not, you know, we're not really working together. We haven't been able to do this together yet. And so every single time I spoke, it was, and the whole goal of this is to bring everyone together. We're trying to have one cohesive voice instead of 5, you know, and we were trying to get ahead of the bad press. And these are all like, basically it's a tactic where you repeat what their problems are back to them and say, this is how we're going to solve it. And it makes it easier to explain it too. You go into it knowing like, okay, you can do some research and be like, what are they looking for? To me, I didn't really know what their problems were before I came in. I knew they wanted to market downtown. Okay, I can do that. I can make videos for you guys. I can run ads for you. But that's not what sold them. What sold them was giving them the reassurance that I'm going to solve the problems that they were presenting to me there. And so you get them talking, you get them explaining, and everyone has their opinion and everyone at the table wants to put in their piece. And you always make sure to touch base on those problems that they have.
Good stuff. Emmanuel, before you ask your second question, Jake was real smart because he came to the group, he came to the club, and he says, I want to put ideas in my head. I want to brainstorm. Can you guys help me out? And we hopped on this big clubhouse meeting and we're all throwing ideas and all brainstorming. And Jake was able to take ideas and, kind of put them where they needed to be and, go and present. So I want you guys to know that if you are in the paid group and you have a deal that's potentially on the table, we have our Thursday night clubhouses. Every Thursday night, we will be doing this. If you want help brainstorming ideas, bring it to the club. We will have a strategy session. We will do exactly what we did when Jake came and brought that to us. So yeah, anyways, Emmanuel, you want to ask your second question real quick?
Yeah, so the second question is, so obviously they had brought up a budget, but before they brought up the budget, did you have in mind a number that you were hoping to meet? Or did you hear the budget and you're like, okay, let me not talk about the number I was going to bring up? Like, did you plan it out and did you already have everything structured and like, we're going to charge X amount, but if they say higher, we'll just go with that? Or
I wish they gave me a budget. They wanted me to propose what it was going to cost.
Emmanuel, so on that clubhouse call, I'm pretty sure that we all told Jake that he was selling himself short and he needed to increase his price, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I had a different number in mind. I was like, well, I can do this for this. And then I realized through the process, I was like, you know what? They can always talk me down, but I can't talk them back up after I propose the price. It just doesn't work like that. So what I did is I went in like, this is what it's going to cost me. This is what I think it's going to cost me. And I told them like, this could change. I mean, if we get into the deep of the 6 months and we're not able to keep up with all the amount of work, then, this price could change. And obviously that's not necessarily reasonable, especially on a contract perspective. But the idea is there that I went in charging them more than I've ever charged anybody else. But then I was like, it's a city. They got money for this. This project that they're doing is $2.5 million. So what's $109,000 to market it? Like I don't know what percentage that is, but there's a rule in business. You've got to like 10 or 15% of your money, your revenue needs to go back into marketing yourself. And so when you look at it from that perspective, it's a no-brainer for a city. I mean, they've never had the opportunity to market themselves like this before. So why would I undersell that piece? Why would arguably the most important aspect of any project is the marketing? Why would you skimp on that? So I went in and I presented it and then I upsold it with adding photography and a website. And I separated everything out and I said, there's going to be additional fees like hosting, all that stuff. I'm not covering that. There's going to be fees for running ads. That's not part of this project. So you've got to separate it out. You got to make them understand the value behind each piece. So when I proposed, I also did a video walkthrough of the proposal when I sent it off, and they all watched it.
Awesome. Emmanuel, does that answer your questions, brother?
Yeah, I just had a quick thing. When you
Sure.
had advised them like there's gonna be extra costs besides my own costs, did you have to like advise them how much that extra costs were gonna be, or did you just let it breathe?
No, I told them, I was like, there's going to be things like hosting for the website and advertising dollars and stuff. That's not money that comes out of the project. It's money that you have to pay to facilitate the action, right? So we're doing the action, but you've got to pay this because it makes more sense for you to do it. We'll stay within your budget, but you have to let people know. You can't be like, oh, it's going to be a little bit of extra money per month, and then it's like
it's going to be around like this amount to this amount, but we got to feel it.
Yeah, whatever. And I told them, I said, whatever I can't reasonably roll into my monthly cost, it's getting passed on to you, right? And that's, you just be transparent with them.
Good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna have one more question from Denise, and then I'm gonna ask my final questions, and we'll wrap it up so we can try to keep this to an hour. Because guys, Jake's got a lot of work to do. I mean, he's got $109,000 deal on his plate, so he's got to get back. We can't keep him here all day. So Denise, I'm going to open the mic to you so you can ask about the Central Hub question that you had.
She might not be here.
Okay,
Oh,
can
there
you
we
hear
go.
me?
Yeah.
The central hub that you're creating, is that just a Facebook group, or is it like an actual website page?
It's both. It's both. So the Facebook, I mean, the Facebook is the social side of it. The social, because you need to be hitting on social media, and it's a great, I mean, you can't avoid it. The website is where all the information is really going to live. So the website is where we would want to send people, right? It's where Facebook would lead to. Every time we do a post, every time it's like, here, click on this link and you can see the calendar. Click on this link to learn more about the event, etc. Right? So you've got to have a place for them to land. That's why the website's probably the most important piece, more important than actual social media. But we all know a website does jack all if it's sitting there and no traffic's going to it, right? So you got to be running everything to it. And think of the website as more like a landing page for people to get what they need. That's what we're focusing on, is give them the relevant information. It's not a 10-page website with a bunch of crap, you know.
Okay, awesome. Dom, I see your question. Dom says, do we have to reserve our spot for the Thursday brainstorming? Dom, just shoot me a message. Let me know what you're working on, and we will put that in the queue to talk about on our Thursday evening Clubhouse meetings. So with that said, I've got a couple of questions. Jake, I know the first time that we had a meeting like this, you had just closed a $56,000 deal. And we talked about confidence. We talked about your growth and the confidence that was building inside of you and how good it felt that you knew you could close a deal if you had to close a deal. Now you've more than doubled your biggest deal. Where is your confidence at? And how does that make you a better business owner, entrepreneur, creative person? What does that allow you to do now that you know whenever I need to close a deal, I can go close a big deal?
Yeah, I don't even think about it anymore. Like I'm not even worried about where money's coming from or where I'm going to find the next project or if I'm going to be able to close it, right? That's where the confidence level has gone to. And that's not to boast, but you really need to. The reason why confidence is so important is because it adds that conviction that you need when you're speaking to somebody. You know, it gives you the opportunity to think ahead of time, like, oh, I know what I need to do in this meeting. I know I need to go in and be selling the results, not get caught in between the forest and not be able to see the trees through the forest. So, the forest through the trees is the way the saying goes. The reality is people get caught up on semantics and little things and they get worried about it. And that's where the anxiety sets in and you feel nervous and you feel this. And yeah, I was nervous going into that first meeting. I wasn't as nervous the second time. And the third time I met with them was just to finalize the contract, right? And finalize a few pieces. But after having that experience, because I can't think of a more nerve-wracking position to be in, having one day to prepare for a meeting with city council, the city manager, meeting the mayor and all these people all at the same table. I mean, going into that, I was nervous. I had actually anxiety sitting at the table before I started talking, right? It like actually there was a physical anxiety response. But the reality is I'm just like, you know what, just do this. Just let it go. Stop worrying about it. If you fall on your face, okay, so what? You have the opportunity to learn for the next time, right? So what we do oftentimes is we get so scared of failing that we don't take that opportunity when it's presented to us, right? We're like, I don't know if I can. Fake it until you make it then. Like every job I've ever had, I walked in not knowing what the hell I was doing. Every single job, even ones that I lied about my resume and say, I've got all this experience, right? All those jobs ended up being something that I killed it at. Why? Because I'm a hard worker. I know that if I get in there, I can learn. I can do whatever it takes. Are there things in this project that I've never done before? Absolutely. I've never worked with a city. It's a bureaucratic nightmare. There's like so many people involved with this project. It's mind-boggling to think about, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Because why not? $109,000. I'll take that any day over whatever anxiety I'm gonna feel. Right? Just have confidence in yourself. Make that a priority. Make sure that you can actually deliver, right? Don't promise something that you can't deliver. That's not what I'm saying. But understand that you really can deliver more than you think you can, you know? And if you can't do it yourself, hire somebody to do it.
Awesome. Okay. Last question I have, and actually this ties in perfect because Michael asked how much our paid program is. Michael, our paid program is 50% off. So it's $499.50. And if I'm not mistaken, that's what Jake bought the program at during our Black Friday sale. And he is used information that he got from our club and our program, and he married it with all the skills that he had already built because he's a hard worker, and he put it together and things are starting to go. So I'm going to be unapologetic about saying that I want you to come and join our club because what we're providing inside the paid program is helping people get to the point where they can do things like Jake is doing. So Jake, last question I have for you is actually respond to Michael. If Michael's on the fence or anybody's on the fence about taking our program and building their skill set, what would you tell them?
Well, I don't know what kind of return on investment 109K turns out to be based off of $500, but I think that's pretty substantial. I'm not sure what the percentage is. It's got to be multiple 100% like increase. But the reality is, man, even if you don't land a $109,000 deal, right? Even if that's not going to happen for you in the first year, I still went from doing real estate and doing up to 1,000 at most for one gig to landing an $8,500 contract, right? So the reality is this course has everything you need. The people in the community have everything that you need. The Facebook group is as valuable as the information in the courses, right? And that's really what I'm here for. Like I want to be involved in the community. I love the conversations that we have. I love all the value that you get. I'm in the community. If you have questions, you can ask me anytime I post, anytime this stuff comes up. I'm happy to answer those questions. There's other people that are killing it in the course that are doing the exact same thing that I am, and we all get busy. We all get focused on what we're doing, but the reality is everyone's going to be making money. I know that there's people that started off slow and are already closing $6,500 deals, $8,000 deals. Like this happens all the time. It's a common progression. And if it doesn't happen immediately, you just work harder. Just work harder. Get yourself out there more. It's something that you can do, and you can get the skills and the tools that you need to do it with the course. It's a no-brainer. It's a 21,000% ROI on $500. I'd say that's worth it. I'm sorry, that's just one contract. Like I said, there's another $100,000 worth of deals that I've closed that I'm getting paid for right now as we go along. So this is just one deal. This is just half. This isn't even everything that I've got going on. I mean, there's so many little deals and little videos and stuff that we're doing. I can't even, what am I going to spend the next hour explaining all the work that I'm doing right now? No, it's done. Just understand and trust me, like I'm not lying about any of this. I mean, I'm happy to show contracts and I'll show you my fucking bank account if you want to see it. The reality is, like, you can get the skills that you need if you can give yourself the confidence that you have to go out and sell. This course is going to give it to you. I don't know what you're waiting for. $500. $500. I mean, $500. We spend more on an ND filter. Give me a break.
I always say that the kid over at Burger King flipping burgers is going to make $500 this month. You're going to make your $500 back. So with that said, Jake, my man, the biggest deal in the club right now, there it is. $109,000. Let me just say thank you for sharing. Thank you for being a part of our club. And let's everybody come off of the mute buttons and let's give Jake one more round of applause before. Let's let him have it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys and gals. Thanks, guys and gals. I appreciate it.
All right, Jake.
You can do it too.
Work, man. You need to get back to work. You're a busy guy.
I got so much to do. I gotta go.
All right, guys. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next one, and we'll be sharing more stories like this. Okay.
Peace.
Laters.